I would like to start off with saying, I've never done this. I've never written a speech, never spoken more than a few words in public, and I've never been more passionate about anything else in my entire life. Hi, I'm Cadence Ames, and for the 15 years I've been alive, I've lived under the spacious skies, the amber waves of grain, the purple mountains' majesties, and above the fruited plain. It's a place I call home, and being a sophomore in a liberal high school, I've seen the kneeling, the fists, and the complete disregard to the sacred flag of the United States of America, the symbol of freedom. When I first saw this in person, I was in my 8th grade Spanish class. I love Spanish. I want to become fluent in the language and knowledgeable of the culture. But here I am, the only middle schooler in a classroom of 30 high schoolers, mostly juniors. I was nervous, but I was tall and quiet at the time, so no one knew how young I was. Okay, it's time. I stand, I take off my hat, I put my right hand over my heart, and I recite the Pledge of Allegiance, in Spanish, of course. Yo prometo lealtad a la bandera de los Estados Unidos de América y la república que representa una nación bajo Dios indivisible y justicia para todos. But I'm confused. Half the class is sitting down. I'm disturbed, but I don't think much of it. Then a few weeks later, the teacher is in the classroom next door when the pledge comes on. I do what I did on that very first day. But this time, I can count on one hand the amount of kids standing. Today, I would have said something, but then I saw myself as a measly 8th grader. God shed His grace on me when He gave me the realization that I live in the greatest country on planet Earth, and I'm proud to represent my country as a Christian woman, as a conservative, and more importantly, with a true love for America. As said in Psalm 31:24, be strong and let your heart take courage, all you who wait for the Lord. With that said, it takes courage and strength to stand up for what you believe in. And I hope to inspire every other young girl out there who is afraid to come out of the dark and lonely conservative closet. It wasn't easy for me. I didn't hide my love for this country or my conservative views, but I sure wasn't going to go out and say them. But then I realized, what's stopping me? I'm not going to let some comment on social media get me down, or a dirty look, eye rolls, snickering, or gossip. I dare you, go out and tell anyone who will listen. I love God, I love my country, and I love myself, and I'm not afraid to shout it out to the world. As the great Charlie Kirk once said, just because you are offended doesn't mean you are right. Remember that when people try to tell you you are wrong, or they call you racist, sexist, or homophobic because you are conservative. Do your research, find sources, and articulate yourself to prepare for an argument, or hopefully a friendly debate or conversation. I've been in these situations where I felt condemned purely for my political beliefs. In the summer after 7th grade, the first thing I did on my school trip to DC was I bought a MAGA hat and proudly wore it. It seemed fitting, but my peers didn't agree. I wish that I grew up in a generation where it wasn't controversial to wear red, white, and blue, to support the police officers and military personnel who risk their lives for the greater good, to believe all lives matter, to bow your head in prayer, to hang the American flag in front of your home, to stand for the national anthem with your hand over your heart. I am going to change this. As I finish high school, continue into college, get my law degree, and hopefully take public office, I want to be part of molding the most patriotic generation of America. I want my little cousins to be able to sing the national anthem at the top of their lungs with their right hands glued over their hearts. I want them to believe in God, to believe in marriage, to believe they can have children and teach them to do the same. I want them to openly feel love, pain, and happiness without someone else telling them how to. I want them to be able to work for a good life in their country, in America. Recently, I've enjoyed one of the many fruits of capitalism, social media. That was where I realized I wasn't alone. I wasn't the only young, female, Christian conservative out there. In a few weeks' time, I heard of Turning Point USA and Charlie Kirk. I thought, wow, there is a young man who's never even been to college, successfully starting the single largest youth conservative organization in the United States of America. I watched his videos out of curiosity and again thought, wow, he really knows what he's talking about. Guess what I did on that very same day? I went on their website and I got in contact with a field representative in hopes to start my own chapter. With the immense help and dedication of the field rep, Lacey Williams, I'm already in the final stages of starting my chapter. This has just been since June when I turned 15. Through Turning Point USA and my newfound passion for conservative politics, I am certain I can make a difference. And I want everyone listening to this to do the same. Everything counts. Even if it's simply wearing your MAGA hat in the White House or standing while reciting the Pledge of Allegiance in class. As it says in Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So do your best to really explore your beliefs and then do everything you can to get your message out. In the past 6 months, life has been a roller coaster. First, it was COVID. When I first heard about it in the news, hadn't even come to the US. Then it did. The hey, we had spring break for 2 weeks. Oh, but then my band competition in Virginia was canceled. Wait, we aren't going back to school this year? Hold up, my Spanish trip to Peru is postponed until next summer? That was horrible for me, for my privileged American life. But then there are protests. Initially I think, whatever, this isn't going to last. But then it did. And then the next thing I know, my home city of Denver is getting ravaged by rioting. And it isn't even the worst of it. I just recently got my permit and I drove down there with my instructor to see hundreds and hundreds of tents belonging to the homeless. I then go home and hear news stories about cops who are getting attacked and killed because they bravely wear the badge. And then I get scared. And more scared. And more scared. Not because of the pandemic, but because of my fellow Americans and their dangerous hate and ignorance. I then hear about the merciless death of a President Trump supporter who was killed simply because of his beliefs. I think, could that be me next? But I'm not going to let people who have hate for God, for their country, and for themselves to scare me into submission. I will stand and do whatever it takes. So far, my life is barely a mark on the timeline of the United States, but I've tried to encourage and inspire. My best friends and some of my close family are liberal. They don't understand my beliefs, and sometimes I don't understand theirs. But it's important to accept everyone. You don't have to agree, but respect is crucial to living in the democracy that makes America great. This is what it takes to become a successful conservative. To this day, I have one single conservative friend at school. But through Turning Point USA, my passion for politics, and my position in my school student council, I hope that one by one, I can help students at my school and across the United States believe in freedom, capitalism, respect, and most importantly, in the United States of America. Thank you, and God bless.